Hi, and welcome to the Siblings 2-Day event, What Every Parent Needs to Know About Sibling Sexual Abuse. I'm Nancy Morris, and I am the host and creator of today's event. I'm also the host of the SiblingsToo podcast series, the creator of the SiblingsToo hashtag, and I'm also doing research into the narratives and stories around sibling sexual abuse at my website, SiblingsToo.com. Why is it that we need to be talking about this subject? It's so much easier just to ignore it, as we have been doing for millennia. The problem is that sibling sexual abuse is thought to be at least 3 times more prevalent than parent to child abuse. It's thought to potentially be happening in as many as 1 in 5 families, either now or historically. And it is likely having impacts that are far reaching outside of the family. There's many myths and bits of misinformation about sibling sexual abuse. Many parents that either haven't heard about it or have heard about it but want to deny it keep turning away from a subject matter that could create devastating and lifelong impacts and effects in their family, not only for the children that are involved directly, but for the rest of the family. This is a serious subject, and it's not to be taken lightly. So this event was designed to bring together professionals, academics, and lived experience experts into one place. Today's event, the first Siblings 2-Day event, is directed towards parents, predominantly towards parents. But I also know that adult survivors, professionals, interested people who say aren't even parents yet, but want to understand more about this subject will also be listening. The majority of the information, though, is directed towards parents. And it's very specifically directed towards parents because the parent is the center point of the family. And families are the center point of our communities. Society doesn't want to talk about sibling sexual abuse, but we must normalize the conversation so that all the other things that we want to do, such as potentially change legislation, add sibling sexual abuse into conversations in sex education in schools, create new funding. All of these things require a normalizing of the conversation. And it is the silence and the stigma associated with sibling sexual abuse that keeps it in the shadows. When it's in the shadows, parents don't have the information they need. Society doesn't have the will to make any changes. And that's certainly true for any government offices. You know, if there's no political will behind something, it's very difficult to get traction. Today's Siblings 2 event is being created with just so many different people have lent their support to this project, not least of which the speakers that you'll hear from. However, there are many people outside of those that will be on camera that have given their support. And I want to take a moment just to thank everybody, whether they're on camera or not. Those people who have contributed through donations, through time and energy, and through just their expertise and motivation behind this project. It helped me to keep going because this has been a labor of love for me. It's been a lot of work, and it's just, sometimes hard to keep going on these projects. I owe a debt of gratitude to those people who have continued to support and encourage me. More specifically, you'll find information about sponsors in the resources pack. So let's just jump on to that right now. And let me quickly walk you through the resources pack that you're receiving so that you know how to use it. You will have received by now an email within which you'll find a link to the resources pack for the Siblings 2-Day event. Once you open that link, this is what you should see. And as you can see, it's a 25-page document filled with information about the videos, the speakers, the various resources that are being made available, along with a checklist that you can use to guide conversations with your partner, wife, husband, significant other, or, friends about the family dynamic and sibling sexual abuse. You'll be able to download it if you wish, or just print it straight off. So this is what the resource pack looks like. And as mentioned, I would appreciate it if you took a moment to review the sponsors who have so generously given in support to the Siblings 2-Day event. Once you've had a look at those, the next thing I would like for you to take a look at as well is a note from Sahir Pahardi, who is a 12-year-old from the Cactus Foundation in India, which you can hear more about in video 4B in the library, which you'll see in just a moment. Sahar is a child warrior who, along with peers of a similar age, take it upon themselves to speak with adults about the issues related to child sexual abuse, sibling sexual abuse, and the mental health of young people. So she's created a video, which is available on the YouTube channel. And this note from her is an excerpt from that video. So I think it's really important for us as adults to pay attention to what the kids are telling us, particularly about these sorts of very important subjects, which they do know something about. So please take a moment to read Sahar's note to you. So here we have the start of the video library. As you see, it is actually set out in a particular order. Now, obviously, you can review the videos in the order which makes sense for you. However, I would encourage you to follow them as they're laid out in this library. The original agenda for today was a single event with all of this information presented in this order. So it's designed that way, but you'll be able to jump back and forth if you wish. I simply encourage you to go through it in the order that it is given. While making the SiblingsToo day event, other opportunities to interview people came about, which of course I didn't want to pass up. So I had a conversation with Claire Blur, who is the CEO of SARSAS, who you will hear mentioned in a few videos, who undertook a significant research project with some of their partners in the United Kingdom, which came out with some very interesting research, which is informing us today about sibling sexual abuse, how to support professionals who work in sibling sexual abuse, and also adult survivors as well. I also had an opportunity to speak with Carrie Jenkins and Jane Solovsky of the National Center on the Sexual Behavior of the Youth. They have a particular program regarding problematic sexual behavior, cognitive behavioral therapy, and we went into a little bit more depth about what that actually looks like and some more important details and data from two leading professionals who work in this domain in the United States. I also got together a group of my new friends, all of whom are adult survivors of sibling sexual abuse, who have messages for the community and for society. So it was a great opportunity to get together with them and speak with them. Also, I recently met John, which is a pseudonym for a gentleman in the United Kingdom who has recently stepped forward regarding his experience of sibling sexual abuse with his brother and has gone to police regarding that. So it's a very interesting conversation about his thoughts and feelings, about his family, the justice process, and what his hopes are for the future. There are also different resources mentioned throughout the videos, which I endeavored to capture in these particular resources here. You'll see the links are made available, and these are direct links, as are the links in the video library. As a PDF, you just have to hit this link and it will take you to that resource. So those are there as well. One of the action steps that I would like for people to take, parents, after being a part of today's event, is to run through this 15-point checklist. The idea of this checklist is to guide you in having a conversation about sibling sexual abuse with other adults, whether they are caregivers, partners, friends, whatever, who are important to you and that you consider to be confidants and people that you trust, to have a conversation simply to guide you so that you can see what it is that you know, don't know, what you've learned, steps that you might be able to take next in your own learning and your own development so that you can better support your children regardless of their age. Because this also does impact families when the survivors are adults and they disclose in adulthood. So I do encourage you to take the checklist and run through it. Then there are several pages with more details on all the speakers who have so graciously given of their time and expertise to be a part of today's Siblings 2-day event. I do encourage you to read through this information and get a little bit better idea of the professionals, academics, and lived experience experts who have been a part of today's event. And then finally, just at the bottom, there are a few questions regarding the videos, how to access them, and what might go wrong. So that's just a brief summary of the resources pack that's now available to you. I hope you enjoyed today's event, and because you are able to access this information in the days and weeks to come, along with a couple of emails that I'll be sending you to nudge you for different pieces of content as I'm creating little snippets and videos and audios coming directly out of the different videos that are part of this program. I encourage you to continue with your learning, and I encourage you to continue in creating conversation about sibling sexual abuse. As mentioned, we need to normalize this conversation so that all the things that we want to have happen to protect our children, our families, our communities, and society, and to support those people who have already experienced sibling sexual abuse, that can happen only when we normalize this conversation. So again, thank you very much. And if you have any questions or comments whatsoever, please email me at SiblingsToo mailbox@gmail.com. Thank you.